Yes, now we can hear you.
All right. Must be a headphone thing. All right, yeah. We'll wait for some people to filter in and then get started. We have a lot on the schedule today. We have some new features that are about to launch. That's pretty exciting, and some interesting experimental work that we're going to do. I'll talk about that later. In the meantime, anyone want to hear some Ironfish jokes?
Always.
Derek, yes, yes. All right. What does an iron fisher say when they're on a boat and they need to drop anchor? Sink the chain. All right, more puns.
Uh,
Where does an ironfish know go when it needs to rest? A chain port. You'll understand that when we talk about chain port coming up. Oh, is it that good, Dan? I thought I maybe should keep my day job.
The delivery is impeccable, honestly.
All right, well, maybe one more minute and we'll get down to business. Serious business. Okay. We're going to start by talking about some features that the team is working on. I think first up, Rohan is going to talk to us about a feature that so many people have been asking for. So we're really happy to finally be working on this. We did some work on it in the past, but I'll let Rohan tell you what we're doing.
Yep. Thanks, Daniel. Um, so yeah, we have been seeing people in the community request wallet encryption for many, many months, and we're excited to announce that we have an internal prototype of this working. So for those of you who are not familiar, Ironfish keys are stored in plain text, and the goal of encryption is to protect it with an additional password. So if a bad actor gets access to your wallet, there's an additional layer of security. So right now we're working on improving the prototype and figuring out what the final version is going to look like. And we have an estimated release target for next month, so sometime in August. And we're really excited to bring this out to the CLI and the Node app. And we hope you guys encrypt your wallets and really enjoy this feature. Next, I think Dan is up, and he's going to talk about Chainport.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so Chainport in the Node app is mostly complete. We have basically released the integration for both testnet and mainnet. This is all feature flagged, and the Chainport folks are helping us just run through all the test cases, making sure that that works on testnet and mainnet. Mainnet's a little bit more fragile, as you can imagine, since like we can't be working with live funds, so they're creating mock tokens and all that sort of thing. And yeah, so essentially Chainport is currently doing regression testing for that. We're making small updates as they find issues. So yeah, it's basically the last leg of the project, and I'm super excited to ship that out as soon as possible. And next up is going to be Raul with Ledger integration.
Thanks, Dan. I think last time we all met, I introduced our Ledger integration work. So a quick recap is we're partnering with Zondax to build the Ledger integration with Ironfish. Zondax has worked with chains like Polkadot, Cosmos, and Zcash. They're kind of the leaders in the space when it comes to Ledger. And so we're excited to work with them. Uh, the goal of adding Ledger is basically an additional layer of security. It allows users to sign transactions on a Ledger device, keeping your private key like basically on that device, and it doesn't leave it. The goal is to import a ledger account as a view-only account and then do the signing on that device. So this is going to be especially useful for our industry partners and some of the institutional people that we work with. So an update on our work so far. So for the Node app, we've completed the designs and we're about to start on the development. I think we've started on the development phase. And then for the CLI, we have basically completed the ledger integration work when it comes to signing transactions. So you can import a ledger account and then sign transactions with it. And this will probably be shipped in our next release. The next step is to add the support for multi-signature wallets. And this is currently being worked on by Zondax, and we'll have an update for you on the next meeting. So that's the update. Excited to add more security to Ironfish, and I'll pass it off to Daniel to talk about Ironfish EVM.
Yeah, thanks, Raul. So I think we talked about this last time a little bit, but one of our plan in conjunction with the bridging operations is to put a full-fledged EVM on the Ironfish chain, which is a huge effort, but it also will provide us a ton of benefits. Like the first and foremost being that it's incredibly easy to integrate with new bridges with an EVM on the chain, because most bridges assume EVM chains. But then even beyond that, it'll open up a ton of possibilities for people to programmatically send private funds in kind of any way they want to. So I'm really excited about this. We've been working on this for the last month now, and we have some test code up in a branch that we have an EVM virtual machine running on the chain in a test node. So yeah, it's fun to work on. We'll keep you updated as it goes. It's probably going to be a long project, but very excited to see the end of that. And next, I'll hand that off to Derek to talk about our mobile app efforts.
Thank you, Daniel. So on the mobile app side of things, I've been back to work on the mobile app after taking a break to work on some Node app and other projects for a bit. I this month have been working on syncing the Node app or syncing the mobile app up with the blockchain. So it's like downloading basically very small blocks from wallet server that's hosted somewhere by us for now. And the other piece I've been working on most recently has been decrypting those notes. So if you remember, I think we've described this in the past in a few monthly pulses. What makes it a bit slower to get your account synced up on Ironfish compared to other networks is that because we're a private chain, you have to go and look at each individual transaction on the chain and decrypt it with your personal key to see if it is relevant to you or not. And so that process can be kind of slow. And also, because it's private, you might want to do it locally on your own phone as opposed to in like a public chain. It doesn't really matter if like a server does it for all the existing accounts or if your balance is kind of pre-calculated somewhere. So the design of the mobile app is to try to do that process on the phone so that you can keep your view key and your spending key both on the phone. And you're the only one who has read or sign capabilities for your transactions. So I'm pretty close to having decryption working. And the kind of project I'll be working on for the next month or so is just building out similar functionality to what we have in our Node app and our CLI wallets, but on mobile. And I think mobile works a little bit differently because I think we're a bit more limited in terms of like power budget and data budget. So we just have to be a little bit more careful about or how fast things are and also like how expensive things are to download. So part of that is we've kind of developed like a smaller block format for when you are running a full node and you sync the full node with the other nodes on the network. There's a lot of data that goes into just making sure that none of the other nodes are trying to produce like fake blocks or scam transactions or cheat somehow. But if you're willing to make the assumption that there's a trusted server out there who will give you like reliable blocks, and you just believe that this server is representative of the actual state of the chain, then you can cut out a lot of data. You can't maintain a network with only those types of servers, but it makes syncing blocks to a mobile app a lot quicker. So yeah, I've mostly been focused on the non-UI portion of developing out the wallet, but Skylar's been working on developing each of the screens, like the sending screen and the balance screen, transactions and settings, and we've been having regular meetings about those and refining them to make sure they kind of represent the state of what we're able to build in the app itself, and we're going to continue to work on those going forward. So yeah, it's still going to be a very long project, but it's a large effort to kind of rebuild all of the wallet support that we have on the desktop in a totally different environment on phones. But we're making good progress, and really excited to see when we get to a point we'll be able to test it out on devices. I also want to talk about some work that Andrea's been doing. He wasn't able to be here today, but he's been putting a lot of work into making scanning and decrypting wallets on desktop environments in our CLI node and our node app a lot faster. A little bit of that work has gone in already into our most recent versions. And part of that is just for a long time, we had limited by default the number of like cores or threads to just 6, even if you had a machine with many more cores or threads. And that was because way back in the day, in our original like pre-mainnet testnet, we were having people with tons and tons of cores that were running into out-of-memory issues because we'd scale up to like 96 cores or whatever machine they were running by default, and then we'd use so much memory creating all those threads that it would crash. And part of that was because back in the day in testnet, we only had CPU mining. We didn't have GPU miners yet. So people were trying to run and mine on Ironfish with like hundreds of cores on a single machine. But now that that's less of an issue and more of our users are running on like typical commodity hardware, it makes sense to allow scaling up to like 16 cores or something. And you get a you know, if you're going from a max of like say 6 threads to 16, you're getting at least double decryption performance. That's like one example of one of the things that Andre has done to improve performance. He's got a bunch of PRs out for other things he's done to speed things up. It's probably going to go into the next release, but it's all adding up to a pretty substantial improvement in how long it takes to both sync up your account and also kind of the amount of CPU usage it takes to actually keep your account up to date. So super excited for that too. Next up, I think Edwin is going to give some updates about the foundation.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, so we have some updates. We're bringing on Michelle Sun to help with ecosystem growth and marketing. Michelle starts this coming Monday, July 15th. We're excited to have her. We will be hosting week 2 of Crypto Olympics later today. Start time is 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 1 UTC. We will be playing poker, chess, putt-putt golf, and trivia against other teams, other blockchains such as Dynex, Octa, Space. Hopefully we get Flux this week, and some others. Like YouTubers, we have a YouTuber team. Yeah, we'll be playing later today. We also have community games where anyone in the community can play. That's gonna be Monday through Thursday. Those events are on the calendar. They have different start times. Some are in the morning, some are at night. I guess depending on where you live. And last week we introduced Dynex as the first team. We hosted an AMA, and I will post the link in chat. There you go. We'll be hosting more AMAs throughout the month. introducing the other teams, and so that everyone in the community can know what other projects in the space are doing, not necessarily privacy space, but crypto as a whole. And one last announcement is here's your last chance for ambassador program winners. Please reach out to us by July 17th. After that, we will, yeah, please reach out to us before then, before July 17th. And that's it for foundation updates.
Yeah, I want to like reiterate what one point that you said, Edwin, that we're bringing on Michelle Sun. That's pretty exciting. Also, she's done a lot of work with community building in Solana, and she's really experienced in that area. So I think it would be really cool to have her. Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for joining. I think that's all we have. As always, we're gonna be in the we'll be in the general channel or questions channel. If you have any questions about like any of the ongoing work we just talked about or anything else, we'll be there. And we'll see you at the next Pulse or Crypto Olympics.
All right,
Right.
everyone, have a great weekend. Enjoy your Friday. Oh,
Yep.
we might have a question coming in. Oh, thanks for the update. Yeah, thanks, Zardov.
See everyone.
See you.